So yesterday I made a video here on my channel exposing Josh Thompson's bias and discrediting Khamzat Chimaev in his win over Robert Whittaker. I will go ahead and link that down below. And guys, I was listening to this podcast episode because I just knew Josh Thompson was going to diss on Khamzat Chimaev. So like I said, check that video out. But I got so infuriated. I got so frustrated. I'm like, I got to go make a video right now. The problem was I got done the video, got it uploaded because I just had to get it out. And then I go to the very next segment, and after I just got done saying I really like John McCarthy, he's very what I think is he usually gives fighters their due, and he comes off as maybe a little bit more unbiased, compared to Josh Thompson. So maybe I was a little wrong there, because what we're going to listen to in this episode here, in this video, Big John McCarthy is delusionally wrong when it comes to Magomed Ankalaev. I mean, like I said, I got done that video, got it uploaded, came back to listen, and I'm like, I messed up. I should have waited, baby, because this is absolutely ridiculous what you're going to hear from Big John McCarthy. But I do want to mention, this is the narrative that is getting pushed by the corporate MMA media. This is a narrative that is getting pushed by Magomed Ankalaev haters. So what you're going to hear is Big John McCarthy mainly, but also Josh Thompson chiming in again, talking about how boring Magomed Ankalaev is. Now, I've been one of those saying, look, Magomed Ankalaev is one of my favorite fighters in the UFC, and especially in the light heavyweight division. Do I think he is the best striker in the division? No. I think Alex Pineda is the best overall striker. In terms of boxing, I believe Magomed Ankalaev has the fastest and best hands in the entire division, and I believe that he is tied for second when it comes to best striker with Jan Blachowicz, because, I think I could give the edge to Ankalaev, but again, Jan Blachowicz did, it was a very close fight, and he was hurting him with the leg kicks, but that's besides the point. What you're going to hear from John McCarthy here, it's the problem with corporate MMA media, man. And I thought that I could defend you, Big John. I tried, man, because I like Big John a lot, but this right here, this is just an L take. It's an L take, and like I said, guys, I've been watching these dudes for a long time, and you look at the view counts, and it just comes off as like what we are in tune to nowadays in the MMA community. We're very hip to what's going on. I mean, this is just an awful take when it comes to the Magomed Ankalaev versus Rakic fight. So I will give my thoughts as we go here, but let's take a listen.
Whoever that is.
All right, we had Magomed Ankalaev taking on Aleksandar Rakic.
Come on, man. You got to do a better pronunciation than that. Rakic. How do you get that one, Big John?
And like I said, if you're going to go on a bathroom break, this is the perfect time to go when you're watching Ankalaev fight, because I don't want to say anything bad about it, because he put on a good performance. He put pressure. He went after it. Josh, there's just so much more that this guy can do. He won't do it.
Okay, so we got a couple problems here right away, right? I'm trying to not pause and do this, too many times. But listen, guys, this is infuriating, because look, Magomed Ankalaev can't win. If you tell him not to wrestle and you tell him to only strike, people will still say he's boring. If you tell him to utilize his full skill set, which Big John's going to insinuate here, then if he utilizes the wrestling, they're going to say he's boring. If Magomed Ankalaev talks a little bit of smack to try to build up the fight, they're going to say, oh, well, he shouldn't do that. He's a tryhard, and it's just, no matter what Ankalaev does, just for whatever reason, people don't want to give him his due. They don't want to acknowledge the fact that this guy is an absolutely spectacular fighter. He is one of the most elite light heavyweights that we have seen in quite some time. He is incredibly well-rounded. He has, what I said before, the best boxing, I think, in the division. He's got very fast hands. He has outstanding striking, and not to mention, He's basically undefeated. He's got 20 wins. I think one draw, one no contest. And he has the one loss because Paul Craig, pulled off the submission. Outside of that, he has been surely spectacular. He has unbelievable striking, and he is not boring to watch. The guy knocks people out all the time, and it's not, saying, oh, this is the time to go on a bathroom break. I'll tell you when the time to go on a bathroom break is. When Thug Rose Namajunas is headlining a fight night. That's the time to go on a bathroom break because Magomed Ankalaev was landing very good, clean shots against Aleksandar Rakic in this matchup. I don't know what people were watching. This was a bad fight, this and that. This was a very good technical fight. Rakic was just running the whole time. He's a runner. He's a track star. He was running around in there. The people that complain about Sean Strickland being boring, they complain about Izzy being boring. They think Magomed, or wait, let me make sure I say this right. The people that think Izzy and Strickland are boring, you have to have the same energy for Magomed or you have to have the same energy for Rakic. I'm trying to get my thoughts out here. I'm so frustrated. Aleksandar Rakic is very boring. He is. He's one of the most boring light heavyweights in the division, in my opinion, but this is ridiculous.
This is crazy.
Does it remind you of someone named John Fitch?
Oh my God. Does it not? Just in reverse. Just in reverse. It's one of those, you look and you go, I know you're a good fighter. I will never, ever say anything but that. I respect your skill set. There's no doubt in my mind, you're one of the better guys in the world at your weight class, but you can absolutely beat insomnia.
Mm-hmm. Guys, let me ask you a question. What is Magomed Ankalaev supposed to do when Aleksandar Rakic does not want to engage? He wants to dance around on the back foot the whole time. He wants to be boring. Those of you that are out there, Israel Adesanya's not boring. Sean Strickland's not boring. Well, Magomed Ankalaev and Aleksandar Rakic in that fight, Aleksandar Rakic made the fight boring. You have to hold Aleksandar Rakic accountable. He made it boring. It was Aleksandar Rakic's fault. Magomed Ankalaev was moving forward. He was advancing. He was trying to track his ass down to land some good shots. What's he supposed to do if the guy doesn't want to engage? You hear people criticize, when we were criticizing Mario Bautista against Jose Aldo, Merab when he fought Jose, it's these guys are shying away from the fight. They're stalling him up against the fence. Is that not kind of what Rakic was doing in the grappling in those moments? Not as bad as that, right? But wasn't he doing that at times? Wasn't he just scooting around on the outside spamming leg kicks? Doesn't that sound familiar? That's literally what Rakic was doing. Rakic is boring. He's boring. You can't say that Israel Adesanya is boring and then not put Rakic in the category. I don't think Izzy's boring, but I'm just saying the same people they pick and choose who to criticize and who not. Aleksandar Rakic is boring. This fight was his fault. The reason it was boring.
Mm-hmm. And it's just the way you go about fighting.
Yeah, Rakic, I think I'd seen a preview that he was able to potentially get a title shot if he won this fight. And I'm like, I don't see it. I didn't see
Rakic or Ankalaev?
No, Rakic also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was told that
neither one would deserve it.
In his interviews beforehand, he's like, yeah, if I win this fight, I'm getting the title shot. I'm like, I know they like him and him being put in these situations, but both of them though, it was basically a light sparring session for both.
Kind of base, Josh, because Josh was like, Rakic, why would Rakic get a title shot off of beating Magomed Ankalaev? And that's exactly what I was saying. They set Magomed Ankalaev up with this fight. It's almost like they looked around the division and they're like, you know what? We're not going to give him a title shot. Even though you've earned one, Magomed, we're going to give you the hardest stylistic fight that we could probably find outside of Alex Pereira, because Pereira doesn't necessarily have the grappling per se. But with Rakic, he's a big, powerful guy. He's got big kicks, and Ankalaev struggles with kicks, which we've seen. I told you before, other than the Jan Blachowicz fight, he does actually pretty well against guys with leg kicks. Outside of that, Aleksandar Rakic was coming off of a loss to Yuri Prochazka at UFC 300. Not just a loss, a finish loss. He got KO'd at UFC 300, and they were going to give Rakic the opportunity to fight the number one guy in Ankalaev, and if he got a win, they were going to give him a title shot. They didn't necessarily maybe say that. You know for sure if they went in there and beat Ankalaev, they'd be talking about Rakic getting a title shot, which is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy considering he just came off of a KO loss to Yuri Prochazka and considering he's the most boring guy in the light heavyweight division. I've been saying it, man. Rakic is the most boring light heavyweight. And then to say that Magomed Ankalaev doesn't deserve a title shot. I was disgusted at Daniel Cormier and a lot of the commentary where they basically handed Magomed the phone at the end, or the microphone at the end, and they were like, basically beg Dana and Alex Pineda and tell them, make your case for why you should get the title shot. Why should you get the title shot, Magomed? Go ahead, beg us. No, Magomed Ankalaev doesn't have to beg shit, man. The guy is behind the champion right now because Alex Pineda is going through, knocking everybody out. Magomed Ankalaev is the most complete and most elite fighter in the division. Flat out. He went out there and KO'd Johnny Walker. And it's like, we're not going to give you a title shot. We're going to give Khalil Roundtree, the number 8 ranked guy at the time, a title shot, who had 5 wins against half the people weren't even in the UFC. And then even the people that were, there were split decisions in there, like against Justin Jacoby. I thought Jacoby won the fight. Then Anthony Smith. Okay, you beat Anthony Smith. Who hasn't beaten Anthony Smith at this point? So it wasn't an impressive win streak. It was an excuse to throw a striker in there, a guy that was just going to stand in front of Poatan the whole time to have an entertaining fight. I get the business angle of it. I understand that part. But then again, you're screwing over Magomed Ankalaev, who has earned a title shot. And I'm telling you right now, he better be fighting for the title the next time Poatan steps in there. He needs to defend the title against Magomed. This is the guy that's kind of been looming over Poatan since he's been at light heavyweight. I believe Ankalaev is the only guy that has a shot at beating Poatan. I'm not making a prediction right now. That's for when we get closer to the fight. But if anyone in the division's going to do it, it's Ankalaev. He's got the grappling. He's got pretty good kicks. He has decent leg kick defense. And not to mention, like I've said, he's got very fast hands, but this is crazy to say that he doesn't deserve a title shot. What does he have to do? Let me throw that out there. Feel free to comment below. If you don't think that Ankalaev should get a title shot after this, then what is it that you think? What does he need to do? What does he need to do? Because whatever you're going to say, I don't even care. It's just a comment to help the algorithm because he deserves a title shot.
And the fact that I think I had heard DC telling me that, or saying that Rakic's corner was saying they were ahead by 2 rounds. I had a 30-27 for Ankalaev, unless I missed something.
First round. The first round, Rakic won the round, and it was based upon he had a lot more volume. Ankalaev was chasing, but he wasn't throwing.
Yeah,
and so when you take a look at the basic how many shots landed and how many thrown, it was a large size difference, and that's where Ankalaev in the second round started at least throwing more. Yeah. But and Rakic just running, as far as he has the ability to stop someone in their tracks and push them back. And in this case, just wouldn't do it enough.
Pillow-handed Rakic. That's why I told you guys in my breakdown, I'm like, Ankalaev's, I picked him by KO. Unfortunately, he didn't get the KO. It went to decision. Pillow-handed Rakic. Rakic can't stop people from moving forward. He has, other than that big old Ophi high kick that he throws that takes forever to get up there, outside of that, there's really no danger in the striking of Aleksandar Rakic. If you could get past the fact of, oh my God, this guy looks like a big yoked bodybuilder. If you could get past that, he's not that dangerous on the feet. Tell me I'm wrong. He's not that dangerous on the feet. So, and watching it in real time, I believe I had it 30-27, Magomed Ankalaev. I gave all 3 to Ankalaev. The first round was very close, but to say that Ankalaev, he's not being active enough, he's not throwing enough. He's moving forward. He's moving forward the entire time. He's there to be hit. Why isn't Rakic throwing anything back? Why isn't Rakic attacking the guy that's coming after him? So you just expect Magomed Ankalaev to start unloading clips. You expect him to just start opening himself up to being vulnerable and being countered to where he could possibly get KO'd in a fight that the UFC definitely wants to see him lose. Yeah, sure. Magomed, go in there, chase the takedown, start swinging wild, and give Rakic the opportunity to possibly KO you. So you grant the UFC's wish of you not getting a title shot. This is just crazy, man. This is crazy, and this is what I've been telling you guys about the BS of like the corporate media narratives and the ability, and I like Big John, and so I'm trying not to be blinded by, this is a guy I've watched growing up for one of the very first people that got me into the sport, so I'm a little blinded by Big John, but I'm starting to kind of come around when I listen to things like this. It's a bathroom break for Rakic versus Ankalaev. That was one of my favorite matchups on the entire card. 2 top 5 light heavyweights. Ankalaev knows if he wins this fight, he's getting a title shot. If Rakic wins, knowing that the UFC wanted Ankalaev to win, he's probably going to get a title shot. Basically a title eliminator, even though it shouldn't have been. It's crazy.
But
No, the thing with Ankalaev, when I was looking at the Bet US odds, man, they had it like if it went to a decision, it was like a minus like 220.
yeah,
So they definitely thought that Ankalaev was going to take this fight to decision and win.
yeah,
That's exactly what happened.
yeah. And how much did he wrestle? Defensive wrestling. That was it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the problem with him.
So again, you see the problem here? They're saying he's boring and he didn't wrestle. But if he would have wrestled, he would have been boring. So Magomed Ankalaev essentially has no way to not be boring to people that want to discredit this guy. Magomed Ankalaev, like, if he's not KOing people in the first 30 seconds, you're like, he's boring. He's boring. Because the UFC has fed you almost this narrative that Ankalaev is boring, which, by the way, they actually have a highlight reel on the UFC's channel. I don't know if Dana White and the UFC don't know that, but on their YouTube channel, they have a video of all the KOs from Magomed Ankalaev's career. They're nasty. Front kicks knocking people out, vicious left hands, stepping through on the combinations, landing a nasty overhand right hook on Johnny Walker, brutally KOing him. The guy is entertaining to watch. The only time that he's not a grappler. The only time he has good grappling, the only time he's had to use it in the UFC basically is in times of where he just wants to mix things together, or against Jan Blachowicz when he basically couldn't walk on one leg because Jan is a very good striker, a guy that outstruck Izzy, who people think is one of the best strikers in UFC history, which I agree with you. But Jan Blachowicz went in there and beat Israel Adesanya. He outstruck him in a lot of moments of that matchup. He landed a lot of good shots against Ankalaev. What do you want Ankalaev to do in a title fight? Just stand in front of the guy on one leg and take a bunch of damage and just, get his brains bashed in? No. Take the fight to where you have an advantage. Grapple. Do what you got to do to survive. That's what Ankalaev did. And it's what you would do if you were in there standing in front of a guy like Jan Blachowicz. So the bottom line is this. Magomed Ankalaev needs to be fighting Alex Pereira for the title next. And if not, I don't know what to say, man. It's getting infuriating at this point. Look, you can think what you want. When you watch Magomed Ankalaev fight, what I see is a very clean boxer on the feet. He's got good kicks. He's got some good kicks of his own. He's got good ability to check the leg kicks. But in terms of the boxing, the vision, the eyes, the way he slips and rips and counters, and he does have the grappling in his back pocket, this is a complete an elite fighter. This nonsense from Josh Thompson and Big John on the Weighing In podcast, and this one was more on Big John, this is the kind of stuff that infuriates me, man. It just does.
No, the one thing you got to figure out in MMA, you're allowed to use all these different skill sets, and the better off you are at them, the better off you're going to be at winning your fight, and the more that you can create a problem for your opponent in making them have to deal with more things, the better off you're going to be. Why would you limit it just to a kickboxing match?
Why would he limit it to just a kickboxing match? Big John, come on, man. Have you not seen what's been going on in the MMA community or Dana White in the UFC? They don't want to give Ankalaev a title shot. They're rewarding guys who are willing to just stand and kickbox with the champion, Alex Pereira, because that's what puts butts in seats. I get it from a business perspective, but in terms of the sport and doing what is right, Magomed Ankalaev feels like he can't grapple because if he does, everyone's going to say he's boring. Do you see what I'm saying, guys? There is no way for Magomed Ankalaev to win. This guy could go out there and knock people out. Ankalaev's the only guy in UFC history that could go out there with a Jorge Masvidal, whatever, flying knee in the first 5 seconds, and he'd be like, oh, that was boring. You should have did it in 1 second instead of 5. It took him too long. Like, it is crazy the way that people assess Magomed Ankalaev. And to compare him to Fitch, Ankalaev is an elite level fighter, a world championship caliber fighter. Like, it's just the discrediting of Ankalaev. And this isn't just them. I'm using them as an example. This is a lot of people that say this kind of shit. Magomed Ankalaev is not boring. He's entertaining. He needs people that are willing to dance in front of him. And I can assure you, Aleksandar Rakic was not willing to dance whatsoever. He was not.
Doesn't make
no
sense.
idea. Yeah, if you want to do that, go fight in glory.
That's it. All right, we had
Go fight in glory. Do you see? But you see, and then we're going to wrap this up here. But you see what I'm saying? They're basically, so if Ankalaev was too grapple heavy, they'd say is boring. But since he's deciding to stand on the feet, because even though he probably could mix in the grappling and have a lot of success there against his opponents, he feels the need to like overcompensate and be like, I can't grapple because if I do, they're going to say I'm so boring and they're not going to give me a title shot and they're not going to give me my due. So I got to stand in there and kickbox. If I want to get in there against Poatan Pereira, I have to please Dana and the UFC and all these corporate media members to go in there and basically kickbox. So you're telling them to go, fight in Glory Kickboxing? Big John, Josh Thompson, they want guys that are going to basically just Glory Kickbox if you're going to get the ticket to fight Alex Pineda for the title. So again, this corporate MMA media stuff, this is why you guys, we appreciate the support here on YouTube, because we can give you the unfiltered thoughts. We can call it like it is. I'm disappointed to hear this take from Big John McCarthy. So I don't know, man. It's disappointing to hear, but I want to hear from you all down in the comments. Like this video. Let me know what you guys think. Consider subscribing to the channel. Doesn't cost you anything. Helps me out a lot. Turn on the notification bell so you do not miss an upload. I appreciate you all. See you next time.